Is it normal to see men in dressing rooms at pageants and the
No.
owner of the pageant?
No. No. The director of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama pageants, it's very much a family atmosphere. She doesn't even go backstage when the girls are getting ready. Only the female chaperones are allowed backstage in the dressing rooms with the girls. I've never had an experience where there were men or directors or anything like that walking back in the dressing rooms.
Yeah. As I understand, there you have an experience of something that happened the night before the pageant?
Well, not the night before the pageant, but when we were in New York City on the media tour, they were doing a book launch at Trump Towers for the Universal Beauty book, and they had a bunch of former Miss USAs and Miss Universes and all 51 of us, and we did the red carpet, and that was tons of fun. And then they lined us all up, and Trump went down the line, and he shook your hand and, looked you over, looked you up and down, head to toe, and was just checking everybody out.
And you thought you felt?
I felt very dirty. It was very creepy. It's kind of like when you're at a bar and a creepy guy is checking you out. That was the experience for me.
That was Samantha Holvey, 2006 Miss North Carolina. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. We've been doing a deep dive into Donald Trump's background and trying to connect dots in a cohesive way where there's all this disparate information that we're tying it together here. So I've seen a lot of comments, and I want to go and discuss Donald Trump's past right now, using these beauty pageants that he owned as a way to exploit women and young girls. The next video I want to share with you is from Tasha Dixon, who competed as Miss Arizona in 2001. Here's what she describes that Donald Trump would do to the women who were participating in this competition. Play this clip.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
As Miss Arizona 2001, Tasha Dixon competed in the Miss USA pageant. Donald Trump owned the contest along with Miss Universe and Miss Teen USA for 19 years.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis. To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him.
And Dixon has strong opinions about what she thinks were Trump's motivations.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump owned the pageant for the reason to utilize his power to get, around beautiful women.
Dixon, who lives in West Hollywood, was 18 at the time.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
The year she competed, the theme was empowering women. And after hearing recent audio of Trump talking about women, she decided to speak out.
I'm Miss Arizona, so I veer more on the conservative side. But I just like to choose what's right.
Dixon tells me she hadn't heard the stern audio before. We did reach out to several 2001 contestants, and those that responded declined to be interviewed. We did, however, receive a statement from former Miss California in 2009, Carrie Prejean Bowler. She said to us in a statement, "To paint Mr. Trump as someone who would purposely walk into a women's dressing room and ask women to come and press him is the most disgusting accusation so far. Mr. Trump has empowered me as a woman, has given me career opportunities, and defended me during my reign as Miss California USA." In the newsroom, Serene Branson, KCAL 9 News.
You may recall this from the 2016 campaign, Alicia Machado's. She was 1997. This is the 1997 interview. She was the 1996 Miss Universe. And during this live interview on CBS, Donald Trump started mocking her weight. She had a very powerful response to him during this live interview. Play this clip.
For the first time in the history of the pageant, viewers can actually participate. There'll be a question up, and the viewers can actually call in and vote. Let's bring up the question. It says, should a pageant title holder be required to maintain her physical appearance during her reign? Why do you think this is an important question that the viewers would care about?
Well, it's something that really has come up over the last year, and Alicia has done an incredible job. She really has turned out to be one of the great Miss Universes, I will say. And she had a little problem during the middle where she gained a little weight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's probably right.
I don't think so.
Okay. And so...
Well, let's talk about that debate, because it's interesting. The viewers are going to make a decision today, and they're going to vote in one way or the other. Alicia, do you think that should matter? Because after all, you were voted in as being the most beautiful woman in the world.
I am the most beautiful woman in the world.
I certainly don't doubt that.
With 20 pounds or no pounds, I am the most beautiful woman in the world.
Do you not think that it's important to maintain a certain look during that year?
Yes, of course, but I think all women in the world have a problem with the weight.
Right.
And I think maybe I had some problem with this, but I'm fine now. And I think 15 pounds is nothing with 20 years old. And I think the most important for the next Miss Universe and then is no more dinners, no more lunch, no more breakfast, and no more when you travel, diplomatic dinners and parties.
I think what Donald's talking about, and I think most people agree, that there is a look to Miss Universe.
And more time for go to the gym. It's very important because when you are Miss Universe, you don't have time for nothing.
Right. Donald, how do you think that this Miss Universe will be different from the others?
Well, I don't know that it's going to be different. We have many beautiful women, and it's actually incredible. I was over there today, and the women are magnificent. And so I don't think it's going to be different. It's going to be more of the same, and it's going to be terrific.
And then you may recall the fallout from this. Hillary Clinton brought this up in 2016 because one of the things that she was warning about is that Donald Trump's behavior against women was not just abhorrent and disgusting and criminal, but that it would also, from a policy standpoint, have an impact as well. Hillary Clinton was saying, for example, Donald Trump, based on the way he treats women, wouldn't hesitate to take away women's reproductive rights. But here's a series right here of just a montage, if you will, a supercut of what went down in 2016. Play this clip.
Miss Venezuela, you are the new Miss Universe!
And some people, when they have pressure, don't eat. And some people, when they have pressure, eat too much, like me, but like Alicia. And she had a little problem during the middle where she gained a little weight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's probably right.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Donald Trump called you Miss Piggy.
Yes, Miss Piggy, Miss
Housekeeping. How did that make you feel?
So sad.
Congratulations, you're citizens of the United States.
Donald, she has a name.
Where did you find
her
this?
name
Where
is
did you find
Alicia
this?
Machado.
Where did you find
and
it?
she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet
really?
she's going to vote this November.
Okay, good.
And then when Donald Trump made statements, and by comparison to what Donald Trump's saying right now, these statements almost seem tame based on how hateful his rhetoric is now, and these statements were so hateful. When Donald Trump made statements saying that Mexican immigrants crossing the border are killers, rapists, and drug runners, there was a boycott against the beauty pageants, and then Donald Trump ultimately said that he was going to skip the Miss USA pageant, and here's how some of the women who were running the pageant responded and celebrated that Trump wasn't going to be there. Play this clip.
We saw that Donald Trump announced on Twitter he would not be here for the pageant tonight. How does that change things for you guys? I knew it was going to be gross. I just knew it was going to be gross. I'm the one.
And I'm sorry, something interrupted me.
I'm wondering if that changes anything as far as the pageant goes tonight, or as far as the brand of the pageant tonight.
You know, as I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, this pageant is an opportunity to be about the women and the city, and that's what we're focusing on. And you know what? It's good for us that we're just focusing full steam ahead. It hasn't really changed because that's all we've been doing for the last few days. And I know that there's a big campaign going on out west, and we're focusing here in Louisiana.
And then there's, of course, Donald Trump's own words regarding Miss Teen USA and how Donald Trump said that, and he confirmed that he would show up when the teenage girls were naked, and he would inspect their bodies while they were naked. This is Donald Trump in his own words on Howard Stern bragging about it. Play this clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting.
Right,
I want to make sure that
you're like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like.
Here's an article from The Independent. Donald Trump boasted about meeting semi-naked teenagers in beauty pageants. Mr. Trump said on Howard Stern's radio show that you just heard in 2005 that he could get away with walking into the dressing room to inspect beautiful women. Donald Trump used to stroll right into the dressing room of beauty pageants while the contestants, some of whom were teenagers, were naked or half-dressed, a former model has claimed. Tasha Dixon was 18 when she competed in the Miss USA pageant, winning the state crown. Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked, changing into our bikinis, Miss Dixon told CBS. He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked. She added that people who worked for Mr. Trump pressured the women to fawn over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention. While still not fully dressed, Miss Dixon added the situation made them feel awkward and physically vulnerable. 4 women who competed in the 1997 Miss Teen USA beauty pageant also said the Republican used to walk in. Some of the girls were as young as 15. So there's another data point on that right here. This is Donald Trump on the Wendy Williams show when he was asked what he has in common with Ivanka and what Ivanka has in common with him. Donald Trump said the following. Play this clip.
We want to know a little bit more about you guys, so we play this game here. It's called Fave 5. I'll ask the question. Ivanka, you answer first, and then Dad, you answer also.
This is tough.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Here's a photograph, by the way, of Donald Trump, Ivanka when she was a little girl, Eric when he was just a boy, and Jeffrey Epstein and John Casablancas, who I did another story on here. Here is a video right here of Donald Trump. This one, this is his deposition that was taken in the E. Jean Carroll case, where he's asked about a video where he was on the hot mic saying that because he's rich and famous, he grabs women by their genitals and sexually abuses them. And Donald Trump responded that either unfortunately or fortunately, this is what rich men are able to do. Play this clip.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet, just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And
this is from a federal court order that was just issued this past week in New York federal court by Judge Lewis Kaplan, who explained that the jury in the last E. Jean Carroll trial found by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Trump sexually abused Ms. Carroll and injured her in doing so. His conduct was willfully negligent or reckless in doing so, or he acted with a conscious disregard for Ms. Carroll's rights, and Ms. Carroll was entitled to compensatory and punitive damages for sexual abuse of about $2 million. Consequently, the fact that Mr. Trump sexually abused, indeed raped Ms. Carroll, has been conclusively established and is binding, in this case, that's from a federal judge. And here is Donald Trump at the Young Republicans Club. about a month ago in New York at a very fancy restaurant called Cipriani's. And Donald Trump makes up the story that a military general told him that the most courageous thing this military general has ever heard was when Donald Trump mocked the woman he sexually abuses. That's what Donald Trump was telling to the young Republicans. Here, play this clip.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general who's a fantastic general actually said to me, "Sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk." That was not a great...
Going back to the statement that you heard earlier in this video from Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump's conduct, not just abhorrent, disgusting, criminal in nature, but also the real-world ramifications of it as well to his victims, of course, who he has created unimaginable suffering to this country. And as Hillary Clinton said, here's what he's going to do. Play this clip of Donald Trump bragging about what he did and what he calls is a miracle. Play this clip.
Because for 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it. They wanted to get it back, right? You wouldn't have that. There would be no question. Nobody else was going to get that done but me.
Yeah.
And we did it, and we did something that was a miracle.
Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments and hit subscribe right now. It's free to subscribe to this channel. If you want to support more journalism like this, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a good day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.